particularly the United States. They do not give a damn about the natural right of billions of people, the majority of humanity, to freedom and justice, the right to determine their own future. Now, whether or not he believes this, frankly, I think he might. It doesn't matter. He's able to use, I'm about to read you something, he's able to use things he sees coming out of our media to demonize the West, and rightly so. He says, they have already moved on to the radical denial of moral, religious, and family values. Do we want to have here in our country, in Russia, parent number 1, parent number 2, and parent number 3 instead of mother and father? 1 week. 1 week after the Air Force Academy headlines broke. He says they have completely lost it.
He's right.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
And everyone that listened to him said, yeah, he's right. Do we want our schools, he says, to impose on our children from their earliest days in school perversions that lead to degradation and extinction? Do we want to drum into their heads the ideas that certain other genders exist, along with women and men, to offer them gender reassignment surgery? Is that what we want for our country and our children? I mean,
No.
would to God that we had leaders in charge of our country who would say that.
That's right.
This is all unacceptable to us, he continued. We have a different future of our own. Let me repeat that the dictatorship of the Western elites targets all societies, including the citizens of Western countries themselves. This is a challenge to all. This complete renunciation of what it means to be human, the overthrow of faith and traditional values, and the suppression of freedom are coming to resemble a religion in reverse, pure Satanism. That's Vladimir Putin. I mean, hey, 2 cheers, 3 cheers for Vladimir Putin. That comment, at least. Now, do I have time to go through 2 more pages? All right. I don't want to. There's a lot more where this came from. Let me get through a few more bullet points. The Academy, that is the Air Force Academy, has also appointed diversity and inclusion political commissars within each of the 40 cadet squadrons to ensure compliance with the new party line. That's, of course, only possible once you've eliminated the boards of visitors, at least the conservative members of the boards. These diversity and inclusion officers wear purple braids over their shoulder in their uniform to indicate their position. Others know they are being watched, and cadets know to whom they should go to report racism and discrimination. It creates a climate of fear and division. It creates a tattletale environment. The Defense Department has largely been ignoring FOIA requests since the Biden administration took place. That is Freedom of Information Act requests, which they're legally obligated to respond to within 20 working days. STARS, my nonprofit, has filed 32 FOIA requests with the Office of Secretary of Defense, West Point, and the United States Air Force Academy during the past year and a half. Only 3 or 4 of those have been answered, and no supporting material has been provided in their answers, and some of those answers have come only after a year and a half. Judicial Watch just filed a lawsuit against the Air Force Academy, citing STARS, because the Air Force Academy refuses to answer its FOIA requests. And we're asking questions. We're asking for support and for evidence of the assertions that there is a white supremacy problem that they face and a white nationalism, Christian nationalism problem they face at their service academy. And no evidence has been provided to back up those claims. In an effort to celebrate the queer and trans agenda, bases around the world across the various branches of the military have begun hosting an increasing number of drag shows that they label family-friendly drag shows, where usually men, often service members, dress up as women and dance provocatively and interact with families and children. The Army now mandates gender identity trainings and instructs its officers on the best times to offer their subordinates gender transition surgeries, all of course on taxpayer dollars. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has established a new Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee. It is above all branches of the military and is chaired by Lester Lyles, who formerly chaired the Obama-era Military Leadership and Diversity Commission, which effectively rewrote policy under the Biden administration, the former Biden administration, Obama administration, to redefine terms like diversity and inclusion and intersectionality and so forth. That was all written into policy a decade ago, and it's finally now being pushed down to the tactical level in these diversity and inclusion training slides. What you might not have known is that it was Senator Jack Reed and Democrats in the Senate have repeatedly introduced legislation into the National Defense Authorization Act that would make your daughters susceptible to the draft. I think it's currently in the draft, the